Hi, it's Romy here. Thanks for tuning into my channel. If you're returning, then thank you so much, and if you're new, then welcome. This is the February 2020 reading for the sign of Gemini. So if you're Gemini, Sun, Rising or Moon, this is a general reading, but it may resonate for you. If it does and you'd like to go ahead and support my work, you can join me for the extended reading, and there's a link for that in the description box below. You can also find me on my website, romywyser.com, with all the services that I offer, or via my membership group via Patreon. So please come check me out there. Let's go ahead and see what's coming out in February for you, Gemini. Okay, Gemini, it's February 2020. So we're going to begin your reading by tuning in to both your guide card for the month ahead and your gift card for the month ahead. So we've pulled the Chariot for you as this guide. And for me, this is about your readiness to move forward. There's a sense of adventure and a sense of lightness that's coming into the month of February for you. And I think you're hungry to move forward. There's been an awful lot of reconciliation within yourself taking place through the month of January, but now you're very much directed into a new pathway. This is 9th house as we're in Aquarius for you, so there is a renewal and a sense of optimism. I feel that for many of you, you do know the direction that you want to move towards. Things may feel still slightly chaotic to not perhaps as firm underfoot as you would like them to be at this point. But remember, we're still very early in the year, and what we need more than anything right now is the charge. We need the energy, the motivation, that cardinal modality that the Chariot energy can bring through for you. So this is really going to help drive you toward those goals, what you're trying to achieve for yourself. I think that where some of you are interested in terms of what's happening from a relationship perspective, the guidance of the Chariot comes through and says there is forward motion. I definitely feel like you might have some opposing energies or some challenges in terms of trying to come together, but ultimately we see success and victory when you are firmly focused forward. This is an energy that's saying to you, Gemini, you can't possibly revisit or go back or keep churning up the past. It isn't going to serve you. The energy is different, the shift is different, and you are ready for something new. And your gift card for the year that came through, for the month of February, is going forward. So you can see this beautiful path that's being laid out ahead of you. Gorgeous colors coming through, the vibrancy, that sun illuminating, beautiful orbs showing through here as well, just indicating the protection, the presence of your guides as they want to drive you forward into lands that feel supportive, that feel rich, that feel fertile. Look at the growth that's coming through here, and even though that we have some clouds overhead, the sun is actually breaking through. So it's also very suggestive that you are going to be able to find a way to navigate through any difficult challenges in the month of February by remaining very focused on what your key priority and intention is. And so I would ask you early in the month to really consider that as we start to drive forward. So we're going to begin your main card spread here. On the 3rd of February, Mercury, your ruling planet, is moving into the sign of Pisces. For you, this is into 10th house, so it's all about career, ambition, long-term planning, and I think this is where the Chariot and going forward is also really helping you in this month, Gemini. So with Mercury in Pisces, it can make you incredibly intuitive. It's tapping into your spiritual self, and with that, there's almost a more, I guess, like a dreamy like quality that comes in as you start to think about the big picture again, which is very 9th house as well, as we're into that Aquarius season for you. You may well be revisiting some ideas or thoughts from the past, or wanting to connect or reconnect with people. Now, we also have Mercury moving into retrograde from the 17th of February. It's going to be in both Pisces and Aquarius, from Pisces from the 17th through to the 4th of March, and then in Aquarius from the 4th through to the 9th. And we're going to be in shadow, remember, right from the start of February. So be under no illusion that you may well feel compelled or start to see people showing up, and you might want to consider that revisiting of certain ideas or approaches that are going to help you. But remember, even though we might feel like we're getting drawn into the past a little bit, Your guide and your gift is all about forward motion. It's all about the future here. So we don't want you to sit too long into this energy. And of course, Gemini, you are still working through a lot of that 8th house with Saturn, Pluto, and now Jupiter in that deeply subconscious part of your chart. And, you know, with that, sometimes there is the need to revisit just so that you can clear out. You know, there's still this huge clearing energy coming through. You should have felt a big shift with the new moon in Aquarius on the 24th of January, which I think has really helped you to have more clarity about where you want to prioritize your time. So Queen of Swords energy comes through. Again, I feel just to cut through any illusion, and actually just so that you don't have those rose-tinted glasses on for too long. You know, 6 of Cups may well bring that up for you. So this could also be another air sign, a Libra or Aquarian that you're dealing with, Gemini. But I feel if it is you, it's showing me that you have absolute sense of self through the month of February. You're very clear-minded about what's important, and you're not prepared to move away from that. We have a lot of ideas flowing. On the 7th of February, Venus moves into the sign of Aries. So it's again giving us that nice cardinal burst of energy, a little bit of motivation, and I feel really helps you to see things and also have the motivation to start to implement and follow through with them. So this is a very action-orientated month for you, I feel, Gemini. With Venus in Aries, it's in your 11th house, so the need for being more social, stepping out, more communications, saying what's on your mind. We're almost like allowing ourselves to test out the transformation that's taken place for us as well through January and how we're feeling into this new energy in 2020. And it's important, I think, that you are being really clear and expressing what your thoughts and feelings are, particularly if you are coming up against old ideas or, you know, revisiting specific connections. You know, this is a time where you're going to be honest and truthful and absolutely authentic in what it is that you need. Okay, so Tower energy coming forward, and I think this does talk about the shifting of our foundational environment. Okay, so some kind of a change coming in, and don't get me wrong, even though that Tower energy can feel a little bit unsettled and slightly chaotic, and I feel that even with the Chariot card, it does feel like, remember I said that the ground might not be so firm underfoot, but actually what that Tower energy is doing is really bringing in the clearing that we need. We need the clearing so that we can absolutely get a vision of that pathway coming forward. And as you come forward in that energy of the Queen of Swords, for me, it shows that you're not going to be too ruffled by what is taking place with this Tower energy. It's almost like you can kind of see it in slow-mo. That's what the sort of vision they're showing me. You can see this series of events happening before your eyes, almost perhaps getting a psychic or intuitive hit that they're about to come forward. But in that, and sort of watching a series of events unfold, there's like a deeper understanding in you that they sort of have to happen, or it has to happen in this way. So I don't really feel you fighting the energy of this Tower wherever it's showing up for you. And whether this is in personal relationships, professionally, or some other area of your life, I want to say that you should welcome it, because what it's going to do is absolutely open up the pathway so that you are free to move ahead without the baggage, without holding on to anything from the past that's going to be limiting you in any way. So on the 9th of February, we have full moon in Leo, and it's a beautiful aspect. It's trining Mars, so there's a tremendous amount of strength, courage, and energy coming through. And I think it's really epitomized by this energy of King of Wands. Now, it could be a fire sign that you're dealing with, an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. I also feel it's tapping into your visionary 9th house. So for those of you, particularly with a focus in and around business, wanting to take something forward in a new way or having a different approach, a fresh idea, that energy of the King of Wands really helping you to find a different and a better approach. I think that that illumination that he's going to bring into your pathway is really going to help once that Tower energy has cleared something out for you. Now, for some of you, this may be someone coming back from the past who's either a fire sign or certainly stepping forward with more warmth. and more, I want to say a little bit more heart, a little bit more openness, shall we say. You feel a little detached though emotionally, so perhaps you are still feeling a little guarded, a little bit unsure. And I think that you need to, you see, this is a month where it's all about action, right? The chariot is in motion, it's in movement. We're seeing the path unfolding, and you're already on the path and moving forward. So words are not really enough. I think for Gemini, this is all about, you know, what's the follow through? What are you actually doing to back up what you're saying? So is this King of Wands who they represent, male or female? Are they offering something that then is tangible? I think that's what you're really going to be looking for. And I don't see you making any clear decisions or committing to anything until you have a much clearer indication of that. That full moon in Leo is in your third house, so it's really activating the way that you think, the way that you communicate. And with the placement, it is giving you this very bold but quite understated energy, I feel, to lay out your priorities and how you see something. So I think you are kind of painting the picture, showing the vision, and saying, if you want to be on board, if you want to be a part of where I'm going and what I'm doing, where this chariot is leading me, here's what matters, here's what's important. And then I feel like you're just getting on with it. You're not really stopping and waiting. I think that there's too much momentum that's building in and around other areas of your life for you to sit and wait for somebody to decide whether they're in or out, for you to see whether that offer that's on the table, whether it be from a business professional, you know, whether it be client related or personally, you're really needing to just get on with what matters to you at the moment. And if they want to step forward and really lay something out, then you're listening, you'll have the time to sit down and have that conversation. But I do feel the Tower energy is also suggesting it needs to be completely different. Like, people need to step forward with their best selves, because I feel right now you're in a place, Gemini, where you are tapping into and pulling out the potential within yourself. You're doing the inner work, and that's what you need and expect from the people that want to be a part of your world, right? So Five of Wands coming through is talking to me about this sense of I think perhaps a little bit of internal conflict for you. So I think where we have this ground not fully firm under your feet, I feel there is perhaps some tension in a certain area for some of you, and perhaps that hasn't been fully resolved. You know, that Tower energy and the Five of Wands does suggest to me that there could be some sort of fallout or argument that takes place through the month of February for some of you, Gemini. Just remember that that Chariot card is going to help you just clear through this energy without it really stopping or impacting you heavily on an emotional level. And I think that this is important, because what the guides are saying to me is that you can't allow yourself to be sucked into anybody else's drama right now. You can't allow yourself to be a part of a situation that, even though it may involve you, isn't really about you, is what I want to say. And actually that Eight of Pentacles right in the center of your reading is talking to me about the fact that if you can just get on and work on your own stuff, on yourself, card of self-mastery coming forward, it's giving you that nice earthy energy to keep you grounded, okay? Perhaps there is some, some stress or some tension, again, connected to this King of Wands energy in whatever way he's showing up for you. But I do see you standing your ground. I see you asserting yourself and keeping your boundaries really strong. This is about what you've learned over the course of the last 12 months and you giving yourself the opportunity to show up in a different way. Emperor energy coming through here could be a cardinal sign that you're dealing with, particularly in Aries. But I also feel this could be representative of a dominant power or a power influence that feels, I want to say slightly uncomfortable in some regards, okay? So maybe you have a little bit of a power play going on. Again, the Chariot card suggesting that could be the case. where we have that trying to stay in control and trying to move something forward in some regards. I think the Emperor energy, though, is also giving you the strength and reminding you of how far you've come, of how resilient you are within yourself, and that you don't need to acquiesce, you don't need to put up with or be suppressed in any kind of a way by any sort of a situation. So Hanged Man's coming through because for me, I think that there is a kind of quality of almost like surrendering into the way that things are playing out. So what I mean by that is that through the month of February, Gemini, it feels to me there's going to be certain situations unfolding that you're not going to have an awful lot of control over, okay? You're going to have to take day by day as situations come up, as conversations arise, as you need to make adjustments in your path. You're going to have to keep checking in with yourself, your own intuitive responses to things. And you know, we have Mars moving into Capricorn on the 16th into your 8th house, which does give you this real sort of power presence actually, but it also talks to me about tapping into that deeper intuitive, almost esoteric side. It gives you a sense of strategy. It actually gives you an awful lot of magnetism and allure. So, you know, it puts you in a strong position. But I feel that when we talk about this quiet strength, it's not about necessarily having to go out and shout about, you know, what you think, what you feel, what you need. It's just like a quieter kind of inner knowing and faith that you have to let some of this all play out. And that you may feel for a short time in this slight sense of limbo as things do. Now, whether this is connected specifically to a relationship that's going on or another situation in your life, I don't want you to feel powerless with this, because actually for me, what the Hangman energy is bringing through for you is almost like the opportunity to go deeper into your spiritual self and understand where you are on your own individual path. And I think that as we have that Mercury retrograde, which, you know, sometimes for Gemini, with it being your ruler, can get a little hazy and more challenging, but actually in Pisces, it's really helping you to tap into your own higher self and to trust your inner guidance. So I think that you'll actually welcome this pause, because I think that things are starting to move at pace. And actually, if everything unfolded as impact, with such impact that I see coming ahead, that you may not even be quite prepared for it. So there's almost like a preparatory energy that I feel is also coming in with the Hanged Man, where we're kind of waiting for a person, for people, for a situation to sort of like fully come together and fully form. And that once it does, you are going to be aligned and balanced within yourself and more able to embrace it. And what it brings through is this powerful sense of security, stability. And here, this is where the guide card of the Chariot is so important, because it's saying even though we set off and we feel like we're on shaky ground, or we feel like something isn't as firm or sort of locked in as we would like it to be, actually once we allow that clearing energy and that change to take place, and we can navigate any of the drama that comes through, as long as you stay focused and true to yourself, ultimately what you're getting to is a position of much more stability and security coming through, okay? I do think for some of you, you may be experiencing perhaps some family dynamics where there's going to be some change or some upset coming through. Again, you know, Queen of Swords for me is saying that you're just being true to yourself right now. You're communicating from a place that you know what you need at the moment, and it feels like you're not really having to, you shouldn't have to compromise. This is what I feel. You shouldn't have to compromise. When the Sun enters Pisces on the 19th, it's into 10th house. So again, you're looking at this long-term planning aspect. I also feel like you are set to unearth some kind of talent or gift within yourself, which I feel perhaps for some of you, you're already working it or using it. But I think for many Geminis, February is set to be a real illumination time for very new ideas or very different ways of thinking to step forward. And perhaps where you haven't had the courage to follow something or to really explore a part of, you know, of yourself, that this is the time when you're really going to have the guts to just go for it and start to say, this is what I want to do. This is what I feel passionate about. This is where I want to direct my energy. So we have the card of consistency coming through with your oracle card here, Gemini. And I think that the consistency is showing up because what they're saying is that even though it could feel like a little bit of a wild ride at times through February, don't you lose sight of what your bigger vision or purpose is. Okay, if you come up against those challenges, remember the Chariot is ruled by water, it's ruled by Cancer, and it's actually giving you the ability to flow and navigate the landscape, you know, to move through the cracks, to find a way round those boulders, or, you know, carve its way through any thick, difficult terrain. So the consistency is about you just trying to stay as balanced and grounded as you can and as true to yourself, regardless what is happening on the external for you, okay? Oh, I love this. You have full moon in Gemini. Okay, the answers you need are coming. Now, the full moon in Gemini, which is going to be on November 30th in 2020, is actually going to be a lunar eclipse. So here's what's really important, right? This is a time in 2020 when we're moving to that air-fire axis with the eclipse energies. And so this is going to quicken things up tremendously. And again, you know, there is this, for me, sense of a building momentum where you felt stuck for so long, whether it be in a relationship or a situation from a work or family dynamic. All of a sudden, we have things starting to unfold and be presented. So a lot of the ideas, the visions, and the picture that you're painting for yourself, you're set to see huge adjustments and revelations coming in around that full moon in Gemini, November 30th through this year. Okay, so Gemini, what I'm going to do is go ahead and pull some clarifying cards that we will explore in the extended reading. If you'd like to join me for that, you can find the link in the description box. This is an opportunity for you to support my channel and also for us to go a bit deeper into the conversation. Remember, you can also join me on my Patreon page, where I do intuitive readings, as well as provide rituals for both the new moon and the full moon. You can again find the link for that in the description box below. And for 2020, I'm also doing soul readings and journey to love readings, the guide and the gift. So you can check those details out on my page also. Okay, so let's go ahead, clarify the Six of Cups energy coming through with Nine of Pentacles. Okay, lovely card of self-reliance coming in, and Knight of Pentacles. Perhaps it's an earth sign you're dealing with that Six of Cups, somebody coming back. Queen of Swords is bringing in the Four of Wands. I think this is all about the idea of how we're bringing in more stability and stronger foundations for you moving forward. And I think what you've learned, what you've come to understand within yourself at this time, Gemini, is what it takes for you to find that sense of peace, yeah? We also have celebration coming through. The ending of a cycle really powerfully. You walking away, releasing something. A lot of healing taking place with that Ten of Swords. So let's look at the Tower energy. Okay, it's bringing up the Fool. So there is that opportunity for a brand new beginning. Everything is about moving forward. You're so ready for this on so many levels, Gemini. Again, Queen of Swords. I think you're so clear-minded through the month of February. Ten of Wands coming in with that King of Wands. Where does this feel like a burden? Whatever this energy or whoever this energy is representative, it feels like, you know, it's either it feels too much, it feels too heavy for you. It's either that you are revisiting an old conversation, or what somebody's trying to put upon you feels too much. So there's a sense of burden that comes through with that energy. But it will be coming through for a reason, something that you need to address within yourself. Four of Swords, perhaps you're feeling burnt out, or you just need to mourn or grieve or move away from a situation that's just felt really heavy. Okay, Eight of Pentacles bringing in that Nine of Swords. I think what they're saying is that when the anxiety does come up through this month of February, and you know, certainly we have some events unfolding that are suggestive of, you know, some challenges to navigate. The way that you deal and the way that you can clear out that anxiety is by focus either within yourself or into a passion or pursuit that's just going to allow you to step away from anything. Okay, remember, Nine of Swords is just about sometimes us feeling like the worst is going to happen, you know, those fears all kind of coming to the surface. Wow, Eight of Pentacles again, okay. Perhaps this is a work situation for some of you. Maybe there's some real stress or anxiety coming up around work that you're going to have to deal with. Okay, Six of Wands. It is victorious though. We move from challenge and conflict into victory and success for you. Just keep that in mind. And this is what I feel, that regardless of how things play out, remember, the more you can keep your cool, the better this is going to be for you. Okay, so the Emperor is bringing up Three of Swords situation. You may have a bit of an upset with this particular person, or what this energy is representing for you. We'll have a look in more detail. King of Pentacles here. Could be a Virgo man that you're dealing with. Taurus or Capricorn with the King of Pentacles. Certainly somebody in a position of power. We have death coming through with the Hanged Man. Okay, opportunity for change and transformation after you've gone into this sense of surrender, tapping deep into your spiritual self. Okay, Ace of Swords coming through with that Ten of Pentacles. I really love that. I feel for some of you there's a very unique idea, offer, something stepping forward, almost being dropped into your conscious awareness. Okay, it feels like it's divinely placed, but coming through, and it's really going to afford you the opportunity to build more security around you. Okay, so whatever has to change, let it change, because what's coming out of it is something really special. Okay, so the card of consistency, again bringing in Ten of Pentacles. Consistency is bringing that sense of stability and security, okay? Answers you need are coming. Five of Cups, and I think that's so that we can release and let go of where there's been emotional disappointments, okay? Where you felt unsure about why something had to happen in a certain way, and perhaps it's what's happened in the past, and I feel like you're reflecting over it. So we have almost like an opportunity to revisit and clear out an energy of something. So perhaps if you didn't know why it had to transpire in the way that it did, by the time we come around to November, you'll absolutely understand the reasons for that. It will make perfect sense to you. Gemini, if you'd like to join me for your extended, we'll go into this in a little bit more detail. I'll pull out some more messages for you. It'll be about another 20 minutes or so. Thank you so much for joining me for your February reading. Hope you've enjoyed. Take good care.